Oh my god, that are the 4 P's that make this laptop amazing. It is time for my 1-month conclusive review of the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7. I'm W2Best and I make videos about tech, travel and inspiration. And if you like this content after watching it, I would be really happy if you wanted to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you can get all the content I'm gonna be putting out in the upcoming weeks and months. I was lucky enough to get my hands on an AMD Ryzen 7 series Lenovo Yoga Slim 7 about 1 month ago. It has been such an in-demand product that it's pretty much impossible to buy it, and the minute it gets into stock, it sells out again. I think together with the ASUS ZenBook 14 UX and UM425, this is probably gonna be the most interesting laptop of 2020. And testing it out has definitely proven that it is one of the most interesting laptops of the year. I got a bit of a harsh start with it when I realized that the webcam is not working. However, the more I've used it, the more I have come to like it. And now that I'm gonna send it back in just a few hours, I'm actually really sad to have to part ways with it. And the only reason I will send it back is because I have other laptops I really want to review. And when I got a broken unit, I pretty much see it as an opportunity to use it for a little bit and then I send it back because it is a faulty unit. I've got enough testing done with it, so I have been able to share with you guys all my opinions about the laptops in different situations and use cases. But there are a few points that I haven't covered yet, and I want to go through them all in this 1-month conclusive review. And if you have any other questions about the laptop, you can for sure post them down in the comment, and I will do my best to answer them. But given that I won't have the laptop anymore, I will be answering based off of my experience from using it during this last month. Before you start watching this video, if you haven't already seen my other videos of the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7, please have a look at them first. There is a full review with all the different things I thought about it after using it for a week, together with benchmarks of the laptop. So if you haven't seen, for example, my full review or my gaming test of the laptop, please head right over to the playlist about Lenovo Yoga Slim 7 and watch through my other clips before you see this as a full review video. It's more of a conclusive review with things that I haven't covered before. The reason I have stated to get the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7 was that it would be a really good combo of performance, portability and ports. And I can definitely say after trying it out that that is exactly what it is. The performance of the Ryzen 7, both with CPU tasks and GPU intensive tasks, have been really good. I had the issues with video editing in the beginning, but as you will see later on in this video, they have been resolved and I have been able to edit video effectively on the laptop. The port setup is just a dream. The 2 USB-C ports together with the HDMI and the 3.5mm jack on the left side, together with the 2 USB-A ports and micro SD card reader on the right hand side. Pretty much the perfect port setup in my opinion. There could have been one more USB-A port, but I couldn't be happier about the port setup. It's really been a true joy to use. Another thing that I find amazing about such a small laptop is that it has got a slot for a second SSD. It's in a bit of a strange format with a 2242 size, but it is NVMe compatible and you can use double-sided NVMe drives. And I will put a link in the description below to one of the drives that you can use to get up to 1 or even 2 terabytes extra storage. So imagine buying the version with 1 terabyte storage and then adding 2 more terabytes of storage. You get a total of 3, which is just an amazing amount of storage in a 14-inch laptop. A few people asked me if I could say something more about the screen. Is it really that good when it's stated at just 300 nits of brightness? There's some confusion about whether there's a glossy screen or a matte screen, as well as how color accurate the screen is. The screen that I have is, from what I have understood, stated at 72% NTSC, which is about 100% sRGB. It is 300 nits of brightness, and it is a matte screen, even though there are different specifications available. I don't have a touchscreen, And I know there are touchscreens available, but not for the AMD version, only for the Intel version. There have also been a few people asking about Thunderbolt 3. Are the USB-C ports Thunderbolt 3 compatible? And this is an easy question to answer, and I'm sorry I haven't covered it before, but Intel has made Thunderbolt an Intel exclusive technology. So there will never be an AMD laptop that will have Thunderbolt. It is only for the Intel versions of this laptop, and you'll never be able to get Thunderbolt in the AMD versions. So if you need an external GPU or have a Thunderbolt specific docking solution, you will need to get the Intel version, which probably has a bit less performance, but I haven't tested it yet, so I wouldn't say too much about it. But seriously, the 4700U and the 4800U has some impressive performance, so I think you might even find it worth to move to a USB-C docking station and skip that Thunderbolt port in getting that performance of the CPUs. There's also a little bit of confusion around the naming scheme here, because Lenovo changed their Yoga series from being the 2-in-1 laptop that you could bend all the way back and put in tablet mode, or in tent mode, or in presentation mode. But it's not anymore. This Lenovo Yoga Slim 7 can fold flat like this, but it does not fold further than that. That is exclusive to the new named line Lenovo Flex. So if you really need a 2-in-1 laptop, this is not the one for you. I was really tearing my hair off, and I would say this is the main reason why I had some issues with the laptop beforehand around the video editing. I couldn't get it to work, even with smaller projects and in full HD. I'm using Davinci Resolve, and it was just a complete mess in the beginning, even though I had made all the Windows updates that were available after I purchased and received the laptop. I tried over the first week or so a few different times to edit small projects between 5 and 10 minutes and couldn't get it to work. I had the issue, I had to restart. I had to restart the computer to get it working again, and sometimes the whole thing just crashed. And I couldn't really figure out any solution to it. I was fiddling around with settings in Davinci Resolve to try to make it work. Didn't work that well. A few weeks later, after I kind of took a break from editing on the Yoga Slim 7, I had done a bunch of new Windows updates. There were like 7 or 8 Windows updates one day, and I pushed all of them through. And after testing out editing after doing those updates, oh my god, there is a big difference. I could, without any problem, edit and play back full HD projects up to 30 minutes of video in the timeline. I even tried taking some 4K footage and putting 4K footage both into Davinci Resolve, about 3 minutes of footage, and I could play it back with a little bit of lag, but it was still a working experience, and I could use it for editing a short video clip. I installed a trial version of Premiere Pro to try out editing both in Full HD and in 4K. The Full HD editing was super smooth, even if I really don't have the skills to edit in Premiere Pro. I've really never used the software, so I don't know anything about editing in that specific software. But I also imported the 4K footage into the timeline, and I could play back, even at full resolution, the 4K footage. And when putting it to half resolution, when I did the timeline playback, it was really working without any lag at all. So both Davinci Resolve and Premiere Pro, the editing and the playback was perfectly smooth. When I was about to render that large 30-minute project, which was the gaming review, I did run into a few glitches. I'm not sure if these were due to my settings or if it was the laptop itself. But after trying about 5 or 6 times and fiddling around with different settings both for the video and audio, I managed to get it to work to render the video, and that video was 30 minutes of full HD video and took pretty much exactly 20 minutes to render. Quite many people asked, how hot does the laptop get? Does it get too hot to touch it when you're doing some intensive tasks? And I would say both while editing and rendering or playing a game, the CPU would hit a temperature around 90 degrees or so, but it's not too hot to touch. So the laptop seems to do a really good job around thermal management on the chassis of the laptop. On the WASD keys, I really can't feel any heat at all. You have to move up to this part up here to be able to feel any heat at all. And right around here on the left hand side is where it gets the hottest, but it's still perfectly fine to touch it. It's hot, but it's not unbearable. When I tested out using it with different docking stations and with external screens, I quickly realized that you can't use the upper USB-C port to connect a monitor to. So this port is the only one that you can use to plug into a DisplayPort. However, both the USB ports work just fine, both for data transfer and for charging. It's only the DisplayPort that is only working with one of the ports. That bought the same laptop had a few issues which I would like to cover. One was whether the SSD had different speeds when plugged in or when running on battery power. And here you can see my benchmark with Crystal Disk Mark when I was plugged in to the power plug. And here are my results when I'm on battery power. Another issue that was mentioned was speeds of Wi-Fi. And I don't have the best Wi-Fi connection in my house, so I can't really say that I can show you 1000 gigabytes transfer speed, but this is the speeds that I get out of my Wi-Fi. So if you feel that you should have fast internet connection, but you are limited at 10 megabit per second or something similar to this, I think you should definitely have a second look at this. There might be some issues around the Wi-Fi cards. Lenovo are kind of known for having not the perfect Wi-Fi cards, so have a look at that if you find that your Wi-Fi is a little bit too slow. Another thing I found that you really need to change when you start the laptop up for the first time is the adaptive brightness that is set in the Windows settings. If I didn't change and turn off the adaptive brightness, the screen would go crazy in changing the brightness level. And I don't know if it's just my unit because the webcam is not working and maybe that is affecting in some way, but it would just be flipping back and forth between different brightnesses, almost as if it was trying to test out which one I would like the most, and then immediately flip to another one. One of the things I have truly enjoyed about this laptop is the startup time and the time it takes to wake up from when it's closed. It also has the feature that when it is closed, and it's turned off and you open up the lid, it will start automatically. So now I have turned the laptop off, I'm closing the lid, opening it back up, and you will see the time it takes to start up. And there we are ready to get into Windows. One thing I have to say that I find truly amazing with this line of laptops is the price level. From what I have seen, you can get it with the Ryzen 5 4700U at around 800 or sometimes 900 euros. Then you can get this one with 4700U, 16 gigabytes of RAM, for almost exactly 1000 euros. And then you can get the Ryzen 7 4800U with 16 gigabyte RAM and 1 terabyte of storage for 1150 euros. At least these are the prices in Sweden, and this is including sales tax in Sweden, which is around 25%, which might differ depending on what country you're in. The performance you get for those 1000 or 1100 euros I think is absolutely stunning. And when I've been comparing, for example with the ASUS ZenBook 14 UM425 that was just released also with the 4700U, that one goes for around 1500 euros with the 4700U. And you can get the Yoga with 4800U for 1150 euros. That's a really special price tag for that kind of high performance computer. And I'm super happy to see that there are laptops with that much power in this form factor available around that price tag. It kind of adds to what I said before about the combination of performance, ports, and portability, and price. Oh my god, that are the 4 P's that make this laptop amazing. So with that said, we kind of have to wrap this up. It's been an intense month of testing this laptop out, and I am really sad to send it back. I can't say anything else around this laptop than the following. To me, this is the most interesting laptop of 2020. I find that it's a real pity how hard it is to get your hands on one, but I guess that will just make it even more interesting during this year, because whenever you can get one, you will want to get one. It is truly a perfect combination of portability, ports, performance at a good price level. I would say that it's very much an interesting machine for anyone that wants a portable 14-inch machine with some power to it. The only reason you would probably not go with this machine is that you want something that is really cheap, really budget. I will be covering budget laptops a lot on this channel moving forward, so subscribe if you want that content. I will be looking at laptops at around 500 euros instead of around 1000 euros as this one is. The other reason why you wouldn't get it is probably if you want gaming primarily. I made a gaming specific review, so if you want to see more gaming tests, you can have a look at that one. Lenovo Yoga Slim 7 is for sure the most versatile laptop on the market today at its price level. Just make sure to do a full quality control when you get your unit, because Lenovo has some problems around quality control, similar to all the other manufacturers of PCs. If I would buy this laptop again, I would probably buy one with a different spec because I would want to try something else out. I would most likely go with a 4800U because I think that is such an amazing value at 1150 euros with the 1TB SSD as well. And then I would upgrade it with another terabyte or 2 TB to make it the ultimate travel laptop at 1.3 kilograms. Is there anything that is not good about this laptop? I've been talking forever about everything that I find is really good with it. Yeah, except the quality control issues, the one thing that I'm actually not the biggest fan of is actually the keyboard. In general, I find that Lenovo keyboards are not that nice. Like, I've used a bunch of different brands and a bunch of different keyboards, and Lenovo's keyboards kind of feel a bit flimsy in general, and these keys I have a bit of a hard time explaining, but they kind of feel like they are a bit too glossy for my fingers to really work well when trying to type fast on them. I tried some ASUS laptops, and my Dell as well has a bit more matte finish to the actual keys, which make the fingers kind of not stick, but get a little bit more grip that you need to be able to actually accentuate, like to push down that key. It's hard to describe, but I would recommend you to go and test the keyboard out if you find that to be very important for your laptop. Because you might not like the experience that much of the Yoga Slim 7. Most of the time when I work in my office, I would always use a mechanical keyboard, so I wouldn't use the internal laptop keyboard that much. And if you use a docking station with an external keyboard, maybe the keyboard experience doesn't matter at all. But if you're a lot on the road and you don't bring an external keyboard, please keep that in mind and check out the keyboard before you decide on getting this one. It is time for me to pack this laptop up and send it back to the retailer where I got it because of the broken webcam. With a bit of tears in my eyes, since I can't get another one since the availability is so low, but that also gives me the opportunity to test some other laptops out, which will be great because there are a lot of interesting machines out during this autumn. I'm W2Best, I make videos about tech travel and inspiration, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day, bye bye!